Away, Scotland versus Greece in the Nations League playoff. Scotland lead on aggregate by a goal to nil, courtesy of that Scott McTominay penalty in the first leg. Can they finish the job here at Hampden? Let's find out in the company of Willie Miller, Billy Dodd, and your match commentator, Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Andy. A wonderful atmosphere inside an absolutely packed Hampden Park, and that tifo in memory of the great Denis Law still on display in the stand opposite us, the North Stand. And just a terrific atmosphere inside what you would have to call an expectant Hampden after the victory out in Athens. Scotland looking to finish the job, knowing a draw or better this evening preserves their League A status for another campaign. Out come the teams onto the Hampden surface. A grey late afternoon in the south side of Glasgow. A little bit of drizzle in the air. Cool afternoon, but the temperature rising in terms of what is at stake here. Greeks determined to turn things round in this second leg, and certainly that second half display, they showed that they are capable of testing Scotland here tonight. The teams line up either side of the halfway line, ready for the national anthems, and we will begin with the visitors, and it's Greece. Inside Hampden, they will be drowned out now by Flower of Scotland. Hampden Park in good voice. Barely a seat in the house to be had here as the teams go through the handshakes. And the match officials, who are Italian, get prepared to get underway. There is going to be another element of the tribute to Denis Law taking place just in a moment, because another Manchester United legend in the shape of Sir Alex Ferguson is down there with a commemorative jersey. which I gather is going to lay down or present. I can see him down there pitch side. In fact, it was the granddaughter of the great Denis Law who led the teams onto the pitch as well. It's a very poignant day for the Law family. But you can hear it's absolutely electric inside the National Stadium. Can't always say that the atmosphere is quite as spine-tinglingly crackling as it is on this Sunday afternoon. And I can see the cameras down there focusing on Sir Alex. It's not entirely clear what is actually happening with the presentation, but it is a tribute, as I mentioned, to late Denis Law. You can probably hear the PA announcer in the background just explaining to the assembled fans here, and now we can see it on our monitors, which gives us a bit of a better idea. There is Sir Alex, centre picture. Just listen to that noise, it's wonderful. And Sir Alex raises the shirt with Law 10 on the back to the fans turning to face each stand, who rise in applause, acknowledging, of course, Sir Alex, but even more so the great Denis Law. And just a very quick personal reflection. I was lucky enough as a 10-year-old to meet Sir Denis Law in this very area, actually, the old Hampden Park and the old press box, just ahead of the 1986 Scottish Cup final, when Willie Miller's Aberdeen side disposed of Hearts. And a lovely man he was, and obviously Willie and the guys knew him a lot better than I did, but you can hear the affection in which he is held as Hampden applauds his memory. One of our finest ever players. As today's Scotland collective try and somehow live up to that kind of memory, well, they can provide the fans here with another moment to remember as we get prepared to kick off here. Scotland in all navy blue, going left to right as we look at it from high up in the south stand. Greece all in white. 6 changes they've made from Thursday. Scotland with just the one, with Ryan Christie in for Lewis Ferguson. Different approaches from the two managers. Let's see which one pays off. Scotland preparing to kick us off here. There's a bit of taping needing done on Scott McTominay's socks, but that's been dealt with. So after a slight delay, this Nations League A playoff second leg about to get underway, and just a hush goes round Hampden momentarily as it's rolled back to Andy Robertson, who strikes it up to the right hand side. It's come off the back of Scott McTominay and out for a throw into Greece midway inside their own half. A few landmark caps being made this afternoon by Scotland players. John McGinn becomes the 6th outfield player to reach 75 caps. Scott McTominay on to 60. And here come Greece as they look to mount the first attack of the game. Trying to build in the midfield. Zafiris back to Vaianides, one of the players who's come into the starting lineup all the way back to Solakis in goal. Clad all in red, tries to clip it out to the left-hand side to Giannoulis, another of the players who's come in. And Tony Ralston will take the throw-in back the way to John Souttar, both of whom were excellent in that defence, particularly in the second half, and it was a bit of an onslaught, but they did limit the Greeks to just one shot on target, and that was a pretty comfortable save for Craig Gordon from a relatively weak header. Of course, the effort off the post was the closest they came. Technically, that doesn't count as a shot on target. But Scotland enjoyed good control in the first half, and they'll be looking to try and do the same over the course of even longer in this game, as the ball's played up by Gordon, flicked on by Adams. Comfortable though for Kouliarakis at the back, and out to the left hand side for Giannoulis, who comes down the left and then plays it infield to the 18-year-old Mouzakitis, who's making just his second appearance for his country, the young Olympiacos player who played in the midfield against Rangers for his club. Forward come Greece, a good ball, and it's up to the edge of the penalty area. Robertson trying to make the challenge. Down goes the Greek player at the edge of the box. Didn't look to be anything in it, and Konstantelias, who was guilty of that a couple of times out in Athens and didn't really get anything from the referee, and the Italian referee Davide Massa didn't see much amiss with the challenge. And Willie Miller, you want to see that from the referee. Good strong referee, not falling for the Greek tricks there.
Yeah, there was no contact. There was virtually no contact. It was a dive. He'd actually taken, you know, a step further in towards the box before he went down, Konstantelias. And yeah, he was up to these tricks on Thursday night as well, and it is good to see the referee taking a strong stance.
The one thing I would add to that, Al, you can see the threat was there. Kouliarakis, the centre half, just smashing a ball through the midfield right into Solis. He gets on the half turn and he's at us. So worrying sign for Scotland that the threat is definitely there from Greece.
Here's Scotland trying to pose a threat of their own as Shea Adams chases a ball and he's dispossessed the defender into the penalty. He goes down. The referee's not interested. Scotland trying to win it back, and now it's a free kick to Greece. Well, I think if we're going to criticise Konstantelias for diving, I think although there was a little bit of contact there in Adams' belly, I'm not sure it was necessarily a penalty.
Yeah, just body to body. I think he could have made better of it, Adams. Great pressure from him, and Mavropanos right away just nicks the ball off him, goes past his man. I just thought, keep going then, make him make a contact where he has to stick a leg out. Instead they get body to body, and they get away with one. But you can see Adams does well initially, drives into the box, there's a bit of contact but not enough to give the penalty.
You didn't have to shoulder barge me to make your point there, incidentally.
Just showing you what it's all about, Al. Getting carried away this early on in the game, a little bit nervous.
Willie agreed there was no penalty there.
I thought he was off balance as well. I thought Shea Adams was off balance, and there was a little bit of contact, but with him being off balance and that little touch on him, he went down rather heavily, so no penalty.
But you can see the Greeks are up for this, as you would expect. They've won the last 3 competitive matches away from home, and that included a victory at Wembley. They know they need to win again tonight to make the leap into League A and relegate the Scots. As we see a shot of their Serbian manager, 62-year-old Ivan Jovanovic, crouching down the touchline. Steve Clarke also at the edge of his technical area, but choosing to stand. Jovanovic obviously has good knees despite his advancing years, as Craig Gordon knocks it down the right hand side. Christie doesn't get there. Interesting that Christie started right hand side, McGinn left.
I noticed that. Lewis Ferguson started on the left. You thought maybe Christie will go there, but it's not. It's McGinn who's gone over there, played there before, and Christie coming to this right hand side so he can get in on that left foot.
Throw into Scotland, deep in Greek territory. We've played 5 minutes here. Scotland 0, Greece 0. With Scotland leading by a goal to 0 on aggregate. The ball goes back to Kenny McLean. Now Gilmore out to the right hand side. McLean forward, that's a good ball. McTominay's into the penalty. He's got a couple in the middle. He goes for goal. It's parried, but fortunately for Greece, it falls to a Greek player, and it's only half clear. Here's Robertson from the edge of the box, drags it just wide. Didn't take a touch. Robertson claiming it did. The officials didn't see it, and it's a goal kick to Greece. But that's a chance, and I wonder if McTominay should have squared it.
I thought the strike was on, to be perfectly honest. I think he's done the right thing. A magnificent through pass as well from Ralston to pick out the midfield player. He's just not caught it properly. You know, I think the goal is there. He's got plenty of space. He's running in. It is a tight angle. Listen, he could cross it if he got his head up. We might have had Christie as well been a little bit more supportive, I would suggest, when the goalkeeper spills it. He spills it right out towards the penalty spot, and I think Ryan Christie just not sharp enough to actually support that strike and anticipate the goalkeeper spilling it out towards him.
It's difficult to fault a man who's averaging a goal every other game in his last 22 for Scotland, and since January 23 has scored a third of Scotland's goals, 11 of her 33. So you can absolutely understand why Scott McTominay backed himself to shoot from a bit of an angle, but certainly McGinn and Adams were making headway into the penalty area as well. But as it's turned out, the keeper dealt with it sufficiently, and it's still 0-0 as Greece have themselves a free kick over on the far side and have gone back into their own half and all the way back to Solakis, the keeper, just outside his area. Plays it forward for Solis. He's out-muscled though by Gilmour. Gilmour just pokes it to his right and forward for Christie. Christie just stumbles slightly, and that allows Giannoulis to come back and dispossess him, and Greece have it back through Solis, forced back the way to Kouliarakis just inside his penalty area. Back to the goalkeeper, and now Mavropanos of West Ham to the right of the Greek penalty. A slip there from a Greek player as it's played forward, and that allows Scotland to pick up, and it's McTominay into the box again. Side netting. Some of the fans round about us thought that was rippling the inside of the net. I think the keeper might have got a touch there to take it outside of the post, and it will be a Scotland corner. 7.5 played. Scotland 0, Greece 0.
That's a good save then if he's got his hand on that one. And again, you know, I think when you get sight of goals, and McTominay is hungry to find the back of the net. He sees the little chink of space down to the goalkeeper's right hand side, and he goes for it. It's a really good save. If that's in target, we're getting a better view of it now from the camera that we're watching. Did he get a touch?
I think it's a nick on the way through rather than a save, Willie, just from the defender right in front of McTominay, as the referee wants a word with some of the players gathered at the edge of the 6-yard box. A very, very congested 6-yard box. Only half a dozen outfield players, barring the corner taker, are outside of it. All the rest gathered at the edge of the 6 or inside as the corner comes in from Gilmour. The referee spotted an infringement inside the 6-yard box, which he was warning the players about. So free kick to Greece, 8.5 played, no goals.
Trying to work McLean from the back area to try and hit that front area, but Greece made it well, and there's an infringement as well from a Scotland player. The one thing I would say, it's been good intent from Scotland. We thought they might be cagey and a little bit edgy in the game, but McTominay now with 2 shots, one hit the target, the other one with a deflection wide. Greece look as if they're under pressure at times because we're putting on a good squeeze on them, so they're giving us possession. So the signs are good early in the game.
Greece free kick then from just inside their own penalty area to be taken by Solakis, playing just his 3rd game for his country, as he launches it over a halfway line. Arleda's beaten in the air by Hanley, bobbles around, and now it's the young man Caretsas picking up possession for the first time inside the opening 10 minutes. Out to the left hand side now, and it's Giannoulis in for Tsimikas of Liverpool at left back, and I'm not sure if that's just a case of freshening things up or tactical from the manager, because I thought Tsimikas was very dangerous in the second half coming down the left hand side. Christie's picked up possession just outside his own penalty area. Now it's Gilmour right hand side, plays it into McLean, who immediately plays it in the channel for Adams to chase down the right flank. Kouliarakis deals with it, but not especially well, and gives it straight to Christie, and here's Christie picking up once more in the pass from McLean, back in field to Gilmour, inside again to McLean, right hand side, midway inside Greek territory, back to the halfway line to Suter, plays it square to Hanley and forward for McGinn, clips it out to the left hand side, neat ball to Robertson right on the touchline, and he goes back now to Hanley just inside his own half, plays it into the centre circle for Suter, and now Gilmour picks up on the halfway line, looks forward, finds McTominay, who lays it off to Christie. Good slick passing from Scotland here, back with Gilmour, tries the diagonal, looking for Robertson. Is it over the head of Caretsas? It is. Good touch, Robertson, back to McGinn, tries to find Robertson once more inside the penalty area, tries to play it across goal, and I think that came back off Robertson in the end, and indeed the officials agree, and it will simply be a goal kick, but a good passage of play there from the Scots.
Well, without doubt, slick football, isn't it? Very accurate, sharp as well, and then releasing Andy Robertson down the left hand side. You thought for a minute that he had the pace and the taking of the full back, but he recovered really quickly. Nice sliding tackle, and it did come off He's shinning out for the goal kick, but good intent, slick football. An impressive start from Scotland, I would have to say, after 11 minutes on the clock.
Here come Greece though, picking up its Konstantelias, that attacking midfielder, well challenged by McGinn, who's taken a sore one for his trouble zone. It's broken off a Greek player, or at least the officials believe so, and it will be a throw in to the visitors, though McGinn might need a spotted treatment. At least he'll need checked by the referee before he gets back to his feet. I think he's going to be okay. We just took a dunt in making that challenge. It was a good one, and Greece will get the throw in midway inside the Scots half on their left hand side, and it goes. McLean though sticks in a boot and gets it to Gilmour, back to Christie, right hand side, under a bit of pressure, back to Ralston. Ralston just tries to dink it down the line, he manages to do so, gets it to Gilmour. Gilmour's taken out of play as he plays it forward, then Adams goes down as well. The referee though has given the free kick to Greece on the halfway line. I'm not entirely sure what for, and you can hear what the Hampden crowd think of it.
Yeah,
I think it's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a challenge by Shea Adams, but I'm not sure if it's the way the ref thought it was. I thought he was going to they were getting a bit of Adams' jersey, Kouliarakis, and pulling him to the ground and trying to step round him, but somehow the foul given against Scotland, and just before that Billy Gilmour wiped out as well, so it could have been 2 Scotland fouls, but ends up being a Greek foul. 12
minutes in, Scotland 0, Greece 0, 1-0 it remains on aggregate as Solakis, the goalkeeper, sends it forward to the halfway line. Scotland get the first contact, but it's picked up in the middle of the park by the Greeks, and they'll come forward now down the left. The ball out to the left hand side is just a bit too strong for Giannoulis. He won't catch it, the Augsburg left back. As Scotland coming into this game unbeaten in 4, 3 straight wins, but they've given the ball away at the edge of their own penalty area, and it's Pavlidis. And now out on the left hand side, Benfica striker gets to the byline, tries to take on John Souttar, unable to do so, and it comes off Pavlidis last, and it will be a Scotland goal kick. 13 in, no goals.
Yeah, good defending from Souttar there. You know, there's a bit of body movement there. It was really tight on the line, but he just kept his eye on the ball and just got the little toe on it, and took it off the opponent and out for the goal kick. But Scotland's throwing, and the possession is given away, and really shouldn't be the case.
Adams unable to hold the ball up, and Greece have got it into the forward area. It's Pavlidis bringing in the full-back in the right-hand side, and then back into the penalty area for Pavlidis. Looks for the 1-2, doesn't quite come off. Robertson was in there to deal with the danger just as well for Scotland, living slightly dangerously just for a moment there, but managing to deal with it, and now back in possession through Robertson. Finds McTominay in the centre of the park, breaks through a couple of challenges, picks up once more the 1-2 from Gilmour, and now out to Ralston on the halfway line, right hand side, comes back in field looking for a pass, and he finds Kenny McLean, always available in that heart of the midfield. Now McGinn looks for it, and he's looking at the referee as if, I'm not entirely sure what John McGinn's asking the referee. The ball still, I think is it the fact that the ball was gone flat or something?
Yeah, that's it, yep.
Going back to Robertson, it was a brilliant tuck round from him, because Pavlidis gave a little, popped a give and go, and he was through if Robertson hadn't rolled himself round and covered round, because it was a nice 1-2 from Greece at the edge of the area that could have put Pavlidis through and goal.
Here's Ralston right hand side, a new ball on the field of play, and Gilmour just rolls it back to Grant Hanley, who's outstanding at the heart of the defence, having barely played this season really. Only one start since having made the move to League One Birmingham City, and that was in the League Cup against Stevenage, but he took his place alongside John Souttar at the heart of the Scotland defence and defended absolutely brilliantly, particularly, as I say, in that second period. Here's McGinn crossing the halfway line, left hand side, in it goes to Kenny McLean, he just plays it into the path of Gilmour, encouraged to move forward by the home crowd. Now out to Christie, midway inside Greek territory, back to Gilmour. Gilmour into the feet of Adams, couldn't bring it under control, and Greece are able to pick up possession. It's clipped forward up towards Pavlidis. He's beaten in the jump well by Kenny McLean. Out for a Greece throw-in down in front of their technical area. We've played 15 and a half minutes, and still no goals and no real threat to Craig Gordon. At least a couple of efforts from Scott McTominay at the other end, neither of which have brought about the opening goal, which would really settle a few nerves inside Hampden if the Scots could get it. It's Giannoulis running the ball out of play in the halfway line, and Scotland will get the throw in. Steve Clarke just handing the ball to Anthony Ralston.
Really good build up there though, Al, you know, and some really smart, sharp passing, you know, with Billy Gilmour at the heart of it. Then it goes up to Che Adams, and he can't control it. You know, he's got to do better than that. You know, he's the main focal point up there. It wasn't a difficult one to control, I didn't think, and he's miscontrolled it, and it just takes the sting out of the attack.
I'm with you, Willie. In the main, it's been good. There was the rotation of passes before that was probably 20 odd that Gilmour hit the diagonal, and then the one up to Che Adams, Willie's talking about, there was probably 10 passes in that nice slick, and just that final bit.
Here's McTominay battling his way through another couple of challenges, then a third goes down. Assistant referee was only a couple of yards away from it and flags for a Scotland free kick, and the referee goes along with him and gives Scotland the free kick midway inside the Greek half, just a couple of yards in from the right touchline, but it allows Billy Gilmour to plot away to try and carve out something here as Scotland send Hanley and Suter forward to add their height to the attack here. Greeks trying to hold their line on the edge of their penalty area. 0-0 it stands after 17.5 minutes at Hampden in this Nations League A playoff second leg. You listen to Sportssound on BBC Radio Scotland. It's Andy Robertson leaving it for Gilmour to curl right-footed onto the penalty spot. Beats absolutely everyone. McTominay was up there but couldn't get his head to it, and across goes Karetsas, who'll just keep it in play and then plays it back to his full-back, who's caught by John McGinn, goes down. Free kick to Greece just a couple of yards from their own goal line, and it remains Scotland 0, Greece 0.
It's a really good delivery from Billy Gilmour as well, isn't it? You know, just round about the penalty spot, a little bit of curl on it, good kind of a centre spot he's picked out as well, and there's just no one there. McTominay tries to get on it, he is pressured by a Greek defender right enough, and it goes harmlessly out to the far side, but really good delivery from Gilmour.
Scotland fans not happy that Solakis was buying a good few yards there with where he was taking the free kick from, but it comes to nothing as Robertson nods it back to Craig Gordon. Just a word about their cap haul now. Craig Gordon up to 81, moves above Darren Fletcher. He's still a cap behind Andy Robertson, who moves on to 82, and he's just 9 now behind Jim Leighton, but Greece have picked up possession and required a really good interception there. Good reading of the game there by Billy Gilmour of Napoli, and he moves away with the ball down the left-hand side because that looked promising just for a moment for Greece.
We've had a real mixture. We've talked about the two good moves with plenty of passing, but a couple of times we've given it away cheaply. That time it was Andy Robertson into McGinn and then McLean all getting caught, and they broke on us, so we've got to be careful.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Greece are capable, if they are presented with an opportunity, they are more than capable of causing Scotland problems, but as yet they've not managed to do so. Craig Gordon, as I say, 42 years old now, and 10 caps behind his legendary teammate Jim Leighton, and although he is advancing in years, you wouldn't necessarily put it beyond him to catch the former Scotland number one as he clips it forward looking for McGinn. McGinn beaten to it though by the fullback Vaianidis of Panathinaikos, and forward comes Karetsas. Haven't really seen him do anything so far, but now he gets into the forward. Here's a good cutback, a big chance and a goal for Konstantelias. Greece have levelled it up. Brilliant break down the right hand side by the Greeks, and the cutback for Konstantelias more or less on the penalty spot, and he sweeps it past Craig Gordon to make it Scotland 0, Greece 1.
Well, we're ripped apart down the left-hand side there. Some really good play from the Greeks as well. Konstantelias in the right place. It's a magnificent cutback to him. He doesn't have to do an awful lot. He just has to make sure that he gets the side foot on it, just directs it towards Craig Gordon's left-hand side, and it nestles in the back of the net. Well worked, but defensively we've got to be better. The two sitting midfield players have got to be in a much more stronger position in front of the two centre backs to give them a little bit of help, but take nothing away from the Greeks. We know they can play. It was well worked and well taken.
Yeah, down there right, as I said, we could have done better, but just Karetsas takes the ball, waits on Vaianidis with the overlap, and the defence goes back towards the 6-yard line, and he picks out a cutback to Constantelius, and my word, does he get a connection on it. It just flies past Craig Gordon. It's a brilliantly taken goal. It's what we dreaded, but we've just got to regroup and go again. We said it wouldn't be straightforward, and it certainly isn't.
Yeah, Constantelius of PAOK, 22 years of age, gets his second goal for his country and his 11th cap, and levels things up on aggregate after 21 minutes of this return leg in the Nations League playoff. A young man who we've been a little bit critical of over the two games for going down rather easily, but there's no doubt he is a player of quality. Saw him against Hearts last season for his club, and he really was one of the orchestrators of their downfall, and he has put his side in front here at Hampden as the Greeks celebrate away to our left, and Steve Clarke's stony face down below us sees his side fall behind, much as the Greeks did out in Athens. Let's see if Scotland can get back into the tie as McGinn plays it out to the left hand side for Robertson. In field now to Gilmore. Robertson again on the march. First time cross into the box and behind Adams. McTominay goes for goal, and he just slices it wide, claiming it took a deflection, but I don't think it did. McTominay fails to hit the target, and at the midway point in this first period, it is Scotland 0, Greece 1 apiece on aggregate.
Yeah, a really smart piece of play down that left hand side as well with Gilmore, Robertson. The cross coming in, it isn't cleared properly. It falls to McTominay. He's struggling to get it under control. He makes a pretty good job of it, but again the shot's weak, isn't it? He's right on the 18-yard line with the right foot, and it slips past the right hand post. Big chance, well worked, but I think it was a difficult control to take, and McTominay found it difficult to get it under control. Yeah,
slashed it, Willie, once he took the touch, but good play from Robertson, as you said.
Yeah, here they come again in Greece. It's Hanley just stretching to head that half clear, but Greece have picked up. It's Solis for Caretsas up the edge of the penalty area, feigning a couple of times to shoot before he's dispossessed by McTominay, who again has managed to get through a couple of challenges before he hits the deck and is fouled in the end, as Caretsas gets a little bit of a word in his ear there from the more experienced Zafiris. I say more experienced, he's only 22, but he's certainly more experienced than the 17-year-old who has made quite the breakthrough this season. Genk born, and Greece have battled to win his affections, if you like. Is committed to the Greek side now for senior level, having represented Belgium all the way up to under 21, but he said his heart beats only for Greece, and he played a part in that opening goal, laying it to Vagiannidis, who then cut it back beautifully for Constantelius. Shea Adams guilty of giving the ball away too cheaply again in the middle of the park, but fortunately for him, Scotland have won it back, only for Christie to hit a rather dubious ball, but Robertson digs him out of a hole and gets it back from McGinn up to the midway point of the Greek half over on the far side. The Scotland left into Gilmore. Scotland trail by a goal to nil, 1-1 in aggregate, as Christie picks up, moves over to the right hand side. Plenty of bodies ahead of him, but he just touches it back to John Souttar, 10 yards inside the Greek half, 24.5 played. There's Kenny McLean into McGinn, and then Gilmore for McTominay. He's dragged to the ground, and Scotland have a free kick about 30 yards from goal, left hand side, and this is an opportunity to load the box and try and get a bit of quality with the delivery, and who knows, maybe the equaliser will come.
When we've played in forward areas, we've looked dangerous with that quick, crisp passing. The tense parts have come when we're building from the back, we've given it away and they've broken on us, so it's been a real mixed bag so far, Willie.
No, it has, but it's been pretty easy in the eye, isn't it, going forward? And I think Billy Gilmore's been at the heart of everything that's been good about Scotland in that midfield there, always wanting to be in the ball, accurate with his passing as well. An opportunity now for maybe Andy Robertson to curl one in, but a good delivery is required.
Here it comes onto the edge of the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper doesn't get a fully impressive contact, but he does enough to force it out to the left hand side with no Scots on hand, as his initial punch wasn't particularly effective, but Greece have dealt with it, and it's cleared down their left hand side. Across comes Souttar to knock it all the way back to Craig Gordon at the edge of his penalty area. We've played just over 25 here. And the bad news is that Scotland trail on the night by a goal to nil. Constantelius, after 20 minutes, sweeping the ball beyond the Scotland keeper. And it's all square on aggregate as Gilmour has it, midway inside his own half, looking for options. He thought about the long diagonal out to the left, thought better of it, and then plays it short to Ralston. He's gone to Suter. He plays the diagonal out to Robertson, beautifully measured onto the chest of the captain, but the assistant referee over on that far side has flagged and said it was out of play. I mean, in all honesty, we can't tell. It doesn't look it, because I thought Robertson was still in play, but the assistant's looking right down the line. We'll have to take his word for it.
Well, we have to take his word, but we don't have to agree with it. I think it looks a good half yard inside the pitch when he takes that down in his chest, and it's a magnificent crossfield pass from John Suter. I could be proven wrong here, but that's not out. I can't see that being out, Dodgy. We're seeing a little replay of it.
Just Robertson's reaction I'm looking at. Well, he doesn't usually react to things if it goes against him, but he wasn't happy with the linesman. He was pointing out never in a Monday Sundays, he was saying.
I think that's exactly what he was saying, wasn't it, Billy? Good lip reading there. Scotland have the throw in, taken by Robertson, back to Hanley and back to Craig Gordon. First time ball out to Kenny McLean, and then back with Hanley once more, left hand side of his penalty area. Asks McLean to come across to the left, which he does, plays it off Caretza. It's out for a Scotland throw in. 60% possession for Scotland in these opening stages. But the important factor is that they have lost the only goal of the game so far, 27.5 played, and it's 1-1 on aggregate as McGinn tries to poke the ball forward, gets the decision from the referee that he was caught, and he'll have a free kick midway inside his own half. But Steve Clarke, as you could probably understand, doesn't look entirely delighted by the way things are going.
No, but I think there's been a lot of good play, a lot of good build-up play. Not created enough opportunities, but McTominay's getting into really prominent positions and a couple of strikes at goal as well. So I think he'll be happy enough with the general play.
Here's Robertson driving forward, looking to take on Vagiannidis on that Scotland left-hand side. Comes back the way now to McLean, midway inside the Greek half. Short of options perhaps, goes back to Robertson, and then it's back with McLean once more, still left-hand side, right on the touchline. Robertson tries to stab it forward, it's still in play, and Greece have got it forward to Pavlidis, who switches it out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball, and now it's Solis, and all of a sudden here come Greece on the counter, looking to go ahead on aggregate. Ball out in the left-hand side of the penalty area, back with Solis into the middle, and Constantelius could do nothing with the pass. It was battered off him, and Scotland just hack it clear, and Shea Adams picks up, almost turns into trouble, but he's still got the ball. Short of support, eventually goes down, but Billy Gilmour picks up anyway. Scotland have it, looking to counter themselves. Now it's McGinn, forward for McTominay. McTominay could burst into the box, just takes a slightly heavy touch. Out comes the goalkeeper, and it will be back in the keeper's clutches as McTominay, I think, was guilty of a slight push there on the defender as well, into the goalkeeper, and the referee just checking on both keeper and defender. I'm not sure massive amounts wrong with them, but the home fans certainly don't believe there is, but I think it will be ultimately just a play-on situation perhaps here, with Soulakis in possession of the ball. But the important thing is, with almost half an hour on the clock here, it's Scotland 0, Greece 1.
But it's McTominay again that's popping up. I mean, a really good ball in from John McGinn. I think the defender always had it under control. There was a push. For me, it's a free kick, but I think the encouraging aspect of it is you're looking at McTominay and he's almost in line with Che Adams, and also just prior to that, Che Adams, actually doing really well, holding the ball up. He's got to be able to do that to give a midfield a little bit of opportunity to get up and support him.
Christie thought he could have got the pass off there, but he ran into bodies and possession is lost.
There's plenty going on now. I mean, you see when they hit the diagonal to Solis and Giannoulis, and they overlap again, they look really dangerous, and you're thinking, oh no, don't go two down, and then we break. And Willie's talking about that McTominay chance, so it's anybody's game.
Yeah, and Solis has found a bit of space in behind Suter here, gets the ball into the 6-yard box. Hanley stands up and just waits, bides his time and takes possession. Because again, that looked dangerous, as Billy's saying. Greece are a real threat here, but here comes Scotland on the counter as Adams gets it out to McGinn. McTominay again, the furthest Scotland player forward, and he gets the ball from McGinn here, left hand side. Robertson jogging up to join him, the ball through. McGinn with a chance, good save. Salakis just hit first time by McGinn on the turn, knew the shot was on, but Salakis with the chest just parries the ball away, and it remains Scotland 0, Greece 1.
It's good goalkeeping though, isn't it? You know, I think it maybe even comes off his chest. He just makes himself big, does Salakis, and John McGinn. You know, great run and a fabulous ball from Andy Robertson, is it?
No, McTominay.
No, McTominay plays the ball in, and it's a great run by John McGinn on his left peg there, sliding in. Really tight angle, but very, very good goalkeeping.
It was. Salakis handed the jersey for these two huge Nations League games, and serving his country well there. Here comes Scotland. It's Adams at the edge of the box, rolls it back to Grant Hanley midway inside the Greece half. Now it's Kenny McLean, left hand side, gets the head up. It's a deep cross, it's too deep, it's gone straight out of play. It'll be a Greece goal kick. We've played 32 minutes here. It's Scotland 0, Greece 1 on the night, 1 apiece on aggregate.
Pity because he had McTominay in there, and he certainly had Christie free at the back area if he could have hit the right cross in McLean, but just overcooked it. As I said, it looks as if we could score. We're creating, we're looking dangerous, but we've got ourselves into that situation that we look a wee bit open at the other end as well. Everything we talked about pre-match about that balance, make it rock solid, but make sure you're a threat. Well, we've got the threat, but we don't look rock solid, Willie.
No, we don't. The last chance, Dodge, it was down our right-hand side, and John Souttar had got dragged into more of a midfield area, which allowed, you know, the Greeks to occupy the space in behind them. He recovered reasonably well, and we were a little bit fortunate to get off with it, but you know, I don't know why he was tempted to go into the midfield area there. He's got to stay back. He's got to be in contact with his other central defender to make sure that these gaps don't appear.
Shove there by the left fullback Giannoulis on Christie, brings Scotland a free kick midway inside their own half. It's already taken. Kenny McLean has it now on the far side, the Scotland left, plays it back to Hanley at the edge of his own penalty area, into Gilmore, always comfortable taking it in tight spaces, which is pretty much what he was in there. Now it's Kenny McLean. Didn't think Gilmore had his best Scotland game out in Greece, but he started this one well, always, regardless of one pass goes astray, which it doesn't often do, but he's always looking for the ball. Here's Ralston right hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to take the Greeks on the outside. Across comes Solis, backtracking there, and it's out for a Scotland throw-in, but 10 yards from the corner flag, right hand side. Scotland trailing by a goal to nil on the night, 1-1 in aggregate here at Hampden in this Nations League A playoff, second leg. Ralston waiting for a decent option to present itself. It's Christie that gets it. He gets it back to Ralston. Greece knock it clear only as far as Souttar, midway inside Greece territory. Now it's Gilmore right hand side, back to Souttar it goes. He's got Hanley inside of him, inside the centre circle, and here he is. Now McGinn, back to Hanley once more, trying to tempt Greece out before springing forward. It's Gilmore right hand side, clips that forward. It's too much on that for McTominay, and that'll go all the way through to Salakis, who's looked steady and confident, the big Olympiacos keeper, denying John McGinn just a few moments ago. Don't tell me another ball's burst, is it? Oh, they need to look at that. The referee picks it up and asks for another, so that's 2 down. Pretty sure we've got plenty in reserve. And
you just hope that they take these soft balls out of circulation, don't you? And they're not re-entering the field of play.
Yeah, that would be preferable, certainly, as the ball's played back to Salakis. We've got 10 minutes left in the first period. Scotland are trailing by a goal to nil. They have played pretty well, you would have to say, as Ralston wins possession back in a good area, but his ball into the box is overhit, and it's going to go all the way out on the far side for a Greek throw-in, but only a few yards from the corner flag, and Scotland can at least try and hem Greece in here.
That ball looks a bit hard, mate, dare I say, when he ballooned that one too far. Maybe get the old one back, though. But he did well with the initial press, nicked it high up. Ralston got himself in a good position, just couldn't curl a ball into the middle of the box. Ball played up to Tavlidis, but he's lost possession, and
I mean, he is a deadly striker, there's absolutely no doubt about it, but he hasn't been overly involved so far. 8 goals for his country in 45 appearances before tonight. But certainly he's a threat, and you don't want to be allowing him too many opportunities inside the Scots penalty area.
He looks like a player that comes alive inside the penalty area rather than outside it. Doesn't look too happy with the other side of the game, closing down, etc.
Here's Zafiris on the halfway line for Greece, bringing his side forward. On the right hand side now is Vayanidis, and Karetsas now, who hasn't been massively involved as he was when he came on in the second half, but as I say, did get involved in that opening goal for Greece. And Scotland have won possession. That is a cynical foul there by Pavlidis, and you would have thought in many circumstances that would have led to a yellow card, and I think the Scotland fans are expecting one, but it doesn't look like it's going to come for the Greek captain after his foul on the Scotland captain, and Scotland simply have to settle for the free kick.
As Willie was saying, I think the referee acknowledges that that's not his game. He's just hung out a leg. I thought it was intentional when I saw it, when Robertson was breaking and he just makes sure, I'm tripping you up, you're going nowhere. And I thought it deserved a yellow.
Yeah, you see the replay and you would have to believe that is the case, but the referee from Italy, Davide Massa, saw it differently. So his card remains in its pocket as Scotland have it at the back, and it's Hanley put under pressure there by the goal scorer Konstantelias. Scotland play it forward, but they've lost out then. There's a real dive there by Karetsas. The referee waves play on, and Scotland have given up possession. Then they win it back, and Ralston has it, and it's just getting a little bit feisty out there. And the home fans don't like the fact that Karetsas went down and hasn't been penalised, also with a yellow card, because that was a very blatant dive from the 17-year-old.
Yeah, too much of it in the game, isn't there? You know, that's 3 or 4 examples of the players going down when it was barely a touch, barely any contact. The referee has to take strong action. He's maybe used to it. He's Italian, isn't he? I would think that they've got up to a trick or two in Italy, I would imagine, and they're very experienced at managing the game over there. So a little bit stronger, I would think. Maybe yellow cards beginning to be in his mind if these kind of incidents continue.
Shea Adams just a moment ago failing to bring a long ball down. Billy, I know he feeds off scraps at times, but is he doing enough as that lone striker to hold the ball up and bring his teammates into play?
I think his touch could be better when it comes into him, especially the one he had a chance on the edge of the box. But he works ever so hard, you've got to remember that, and watch the back four really well. But he could do better when it comes to that final bit. Just make sure your touch is pure and you take it in and get your team attacking.
Here's Giannoulis left hand side picking up from Pavlidis. Greece looking to get a second goal before the interval, driving up to the edge of the penalty area. It's back out to Giannoulis, the left fullback, in an advanced area. Now Zafiris takes over in from the left for his young central midfield partner Mouzakitis, who's looked pretty assured out there now. Vayanidis set up the opening goal. Karetsas booed roundly by the home fans as he picks up possession. Now back in the edge of the box as Mouzakitis tries to curl one, but he's well off target, well over the top from the teenager, and it remains with 6 minutes left in the first period. Scotland 0, Greece 1.
Yeah, poor effort from Mouzakitis. You know, he's outside the box. He's got plenty of options in the box. Loads of white jerseys there. I must say that Scotland get plenty of navy jerseys back as well. So maybe not too many standout passes there, but it was a waste after a good build-up.
Here's Pavlidis, allowed to advance 25 yards from goal, blasts it way off target. He's annoyed with himself, this striker, and well he should be, because it was a really poor effort after he was allowed to advance. But no threat on Craig Gordon's goal there, when perhaps there should have been. Scotland survive.
Yeah, but it was in those deeper areas where we're trying to build from the back that we're getting ourselves into trouble. It was Christie on that occasion taking it down the chest, trying to pop it off, but it goes straight to Pavlidis, and we backed off him, and I expected him to hit the target, but he looked dangerous. But again, we're not secure in that, in their own final third. They're building from the back. They've given the ball away far too much in that area.
McTominay getting away with one perhaps in the middle of the park there and allowed to advance, and now it's McGinn. He clips it forward looking for Billy Gilmour, who's in an advanced area. Lovely little touch back for Christie. Christie clips it into the area when perhaps there were better options, or at least he didn't execute the pass particularly well, and Greece get it cleared and come forward themselves now as Mouzakitis gets it forward to Pavlidis. Holds it up on the left hand side, tries to move away from Gilmour, back to Mouzakitis just inside the Scotland half. 4 minutes left for this first half. The manager of the Greeks, Ivan Jovanovic, is out there just trying to calm his team down, doesn't want it to get too frenetic out there, but they do lead by a goal to nil, 1 apiece on aggregate, and it's all set up for a real grandstand second period here. There's still 4 minutes left in this first half as Greece come forward once more through Giannoulis, who's done a good job in that left back role. I wondered about the omission of a Liverpool full-back, but here he is once more in a good position, cuts it back into a really good area. It's Konstantelias for Karetsas to cut off. Beautiful goal! Greece have the advantage now. Superb finish as Scotland are carved open, and Konstantelias turns provider as he lays it into the path of Karetsas, and the 17-year-old shows his class to curl it into the top corner of Craig Gordon and make it Scotland 0, Greece 2.
Well, Karetsas has been out of the game for much of this first half, but you can see the talent that the young man has. He showed glimpses of it on Thursday night, and on that occasion he knows exactly what he wants to do. Konstantelias sets it up for him, he just strolls onto it with the left foot, picks his spot and drills it into the back of the net for their second goal.
Their 2 goals have been unbelievable finishes, you have to say that right away. Again, we don't defend it well. I was just going to say we're pretty wide open, get to half time, just the ball inside Ryan Christie to Giannoulis, who's been forward all game. His pick out to Konstantelias, and he shows composure to just roll it to the young lad, and let's be honest, he buries a beauty right into the top corner. It's not much Craig Gordon can do about that, but we have to do better defensively. I was saying come get half time and we were open, and I was worried and they punished us, but still not out it. We just need to get the goal and keep going, make sure we stay in the game.
It's a wonderful finish, and it gets better every time you watch it, but unfortunately it's come for Greece as young Kostas Karetsas, on just his second appearance for the senior national side, scores his first international goal to give Greece the advantage on aggregate now. 2-1 they lead over the piece, and Scotland, despite having played reasonably well in this first half, find themselves 2 goals down on the night. And Karetsas, he just took it first time, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He's one of these players you can imagine just sees pictures of what's going to happen, he sees the game develop, and it was a cultured finish way beyond Craig Gordon into the top corner. He missed only by a few inches, having come on in the first leg when he tried a curler. This one was right on target, and it has given Greece a wonderful position as we go into the last minute or so of this first period. Gilmour fouled on the halfway line, but Steve Clarke has a bit of work to do when he gets his side into the dressing room.
It does that, yeah. I mean, the quality of the goals, though, they've been outstanding. The 2 goals that the Greeks have scored. Yeah, at times I think we look a little bit open at the back, too open, I would suggest, but at the same time taking nothing away from the quality of these 2 goals. We haven't really threatened, McTominay's looked the main man up there. The chances have fallen to him, but he hasn't been able to take them as far as the Greeks are concerned. Just absolutely top quality goals, both of them.
Both coming from essentially from cutbacks from the fullbacks initially, albeit Konstantelias then laid that into the path of Karetsas, but this time it was Giannoulis going down the left, whereas previously it was Vagiannidis providing Konstantelias for the first goal. Here's McGinn bustling into the box, he goes down, the referee takes a look, shakes his head, and I think rightly so, as Greece pick up and Solakis launches it long. I think just a minute added on at the end. The fourth officials board was slightly difficult to make sense of there, but here comes Scotland looking for an injury time goal to get them back level on aggregate. It's McGinn left hand side, curls it in, up goes McTominay with the header, but it's weak into the midriff of the goalkeeper, who dives on it into the ground in the 6-yard box, and he'll just take his time and CU's side into a half-time lead, which has seen them turn it round from a 1-goal deficit at kick-off to a 2-1 lead on aggregate as it's launched over the halfway line. It's going to break kindly for Pavlidis here. Surely there's not a third in stoppage time here for Greece. There might well be. It's Pavlidis on the turn, well blocked by Hanley right on the penalty spot as Scotland defending for their lives there, because they cannot afford to lose another goal. They haven't done, but the boos ring round Hampden. I don't think it's for the Scotland performance, but the Scotland fans will not appreciate the scoreline, because having started the game brightly with McTominay going close on a couple of occasions inside the opening 10, Scotland found themselves a goal down and level on aggregate when Vianidis went down the right hand side, cut it back for Konstantelias to sweep it past Craig Gordon to bring the Greeks level on aggregate. There was a good save at the other end when Soulakis denied John McGinn more or less on the half-hour mark, but on 42 minutes Greece took in the driving seat in the tie as Konstantelias laid it into the path of the 17-year-old Karetsas, and he caressed it into the top corner to make the half-time scoreline at Hampden. Scotland 0, Greece 2.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
It's absolutely brilliant from Scotland!
This is Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Andy Burke. Half-time here at Hampden in the second leg of the Nations League playoff, and Scotland are in a bit of a hole. Greece leading here in Glasgow by 2-0, and they now lead the tie 2-1 on aggregate. Willie Miller, Billy Dodds and Tom English are alongside me at Hampden. And Tom, Greece have come and showed us the Greece that we thought they were, the Greece that won at Wembley.
Yeah, and the Greece from second half the other night, only more clinical, more shots on target, more ruthless edge. Scotland, the game is so open; it's far too open. Scotland, I think they've been decent going forward. I think McTominay's having a big game in defence and box to box, but when they're exposed, Greece have just been completely ruthless, and I think there's been some bad individual errors at the back, guys running towards other players in possession and leaving somebody behind, and that is the one that they really needed to pick up. And certainly in the second goal, Robertson runs away from Karetsas, and he's the one who puts it in the back of the net. I just think Scotland have looked very vulnerable, making bad decisions at the back, and Greece are in the mood to punish them tonight when they weren't the other night.
Yeah, Willie Miller, Scotland have showed some promise going forward, but as Tom says, the mistakes have been punished ruthlessly by the Greeks.
2 quality goals, you know, could you do more about it? I think they could look much more solidly defensively, Scotland. I don't think that they're working particularly well as a back four, as a group, and I think the 2 sitting midfield players are not given much cover either. I feel as though they're too intent to get forward. McLean and Gilmour, I would say Gilmour's been, at the heart of everything in terms of the build-up play. But he's keen to get forward as well. There's big gaps, between the back four, the midfield sitting 2, and the 3 that are supporting Che Adams. Che Adams has got to hold the ball up much better. Yeah, I take Dodge's point. He works tirelessly hard. You can see he's up there. He's a bit of a lone ranger up there, going from side to side. But when the ball comes, it's got to stick. He's got to bring his midfield players into some action. And McTominay's had the chances, but he's not looked like it. McTominay, the strikes that he's had have not been sweet strikes. They've not been clean. They've been, a bit awkward. But the 2 goals are fabulous strikes. The second one in particular. I mean, we know that this is a gifted young man. He showed signs of it on Thursday night, but Karetsas, when he gets it, you know what he's going to do as well, because he tried it in a couple of occasions midweek. When it falls to him and he gets it onto his left peg and he just picks his spot out and curls it into the back of the net. It's a fantastic strike, and the first one as well was a good one. But as I said in commentary, I thought that the 2 sitting midfield players should be covering that type of area, and they weren't. They were the wrong side. of Konstantelius, but when he struck it away, and it was a really good goal. I mean, it was a culture finish, you've got to say that too, but at the same time I think the sitting midfield players got to play their part.
Yeah, you have to take your hats off to those Greek finishes and the build-up, Billy. 2 quality goals. We will obviously always look at where Scotland could have defended better, but great goals.
Got to. Yeah, listen, the 2 finishes are exquisite. The connections on them, the executions. The first one with the right foot catches it sweetly, and then Carestas just bends that one in the top corner. But you got to look at it, because I said to you, it reminded me of the Fenerbahce tie we had a few weeks ago. It's turned out like that, and it's how you handle it mentally now. We also spoke a lot of things we spoke about pre-match, about rock solid at the back, being a threat. Well, as I said, that we've been a threat, but we've not been rock solid. I just think when we're building from the back, what's got us into trouble is when we're trying to build from the back, we're giving the ball away, and we end up looking a little bit tense and nervous and a bit all over the place. Whereas from middle to front, I think we've looked pretty good and could have been more clinical, but we've looked a threat, and we've looked as if we can pass, we can get the ball, we can knock it about, we can put our passes together and create something. We're just not going to go. Now we've lost it. Now I was worried just before half-time. I'm thinking, just get to half-time 1-0 and let Stevie Clarke regroup them and get a word with them and see if we can just make sure we're solid when we lose possession. Because Willie's right, the 2 midfielders who were meant to be the 2 anchors, maybe one of them away, no problem, but 2 of them, and it leaves it wide open. And they'll say, yeah, but Konstantelius, who was high up, he's probably got to be picked up with your centre half then, because he's running and he's becoming a striker. But sometimes when it goes like that and it happens so quickly, you can't do anything. And the 2 centre half retreated to the 6-yard box. He hung out and he just planted it home. We've got ourselves into a little bit of trouble. You can see that we were kind of panicking, especially the final third. Our final third defensively, building especially, and we've got to find a way now, because we look a threat, as we say, to score the next goal and somehow get through this, whether it's on penalties or whatever. You just win it by whatever manner it means, because you have the same feeling when you get through the tie. But we've made it hell of a difficult for ourselves now.
This kid, Karetsis, Tom, there was so much chat about him before the first leg, and he made such a difference in the second half of that first leg. He was quite quiet, hadn't done much for the first 15-20 minutes, but boy, when he came to life, he made it count, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone's talking about this lad, and I think Scotland have just given him so much space there. I mean, it's a brilliant finish, but you know, he's inside the penalty area and he's got really time to, he hits it first time, beautiful curling finish. You can't give a player of this guy's quality that kind of time, and they have done. They've done it twice, with the first goal as well with Konstantelius, and they've done it there with the second goal. Beautiful finishes, but they've got space and they've got time, and Scotland get punished for just, I don't know, it just lacks moments, you know, the switching off. And I think that if there isn't a proper balance in this team in the first half there between defence and attack. I think they've just been too gung-ho at times, and they've been left themselves exposed.
I think both goals are down to the 2 sitting midfield players, to be perfectly honest. Andy Robertson shouldn't be coming in and leaving Karetsis on his own, but the 2 sitting midfield players should be on Konstantelius. I mean, that's he scored one and he's made one. Where are the sitting midfield? He's playing up alongside Pavlidis, but he's dropping off into a number 10 position, and there's nobody picking him up, you know, and that's been the danger. And you know, I think Kenny McLean and Billy Gilmour's got to take more responsibility defensively.
They're not in any of the pictures for any of the goals, which is incredible. Now, as I say to you, it's the old adage, they'll say, yeah, but he's high now, he's a striker. But when it happens so quickly, you can't expect your centre half to pick him up. You just got to, especially one of you. All right, sometimes one of you will be gone, the other one's got to sit and give the balance so he can tail him back and make sure he's picked up. If they'd done that, I don't think they scored both their goals. It's that important. But because they've just said, oh, we'll go high, and when he goes as a 10, when he goes higher, he becomes a second striker, so the centre halves have got to get him. It can't be like that at this level, because you can see he can punish. He scored the first goal and he's set up the second, and he's been the main threat throughout the first half.
Well, Greece seemed to have learned some lessons from Thursday night when they pumped a load of balls into the Scotland box, which Suter and Hanley ate up. They're playing it a little bit differently now, a little more intricate around the box and pulling Scotland apart.
Absolutely, Andy. It's a completely different game. You know, they're playing probably their game. I don't know why there was so many balls thrown in Thursday night into the box, which really suited particularly Grant Hanley, but both Hanley and Suter dealt with it extremely well. It's the other aspect of the game when they're building it up and they're passing it slickly, and you've got Konstantelias just dropping off, you know, and there isn't a communication there. I mean, that's what should happen. The centre back should be saying to the two sitting midfield players, you've got to pick this boy up. He's a danger. He's coming up on top of us, but then he's dropping off and he's picking up the ball. One of you has got to get on top of him. You're only asking one, you're not asking both of them to sit back there. So yeah, I mean, the Greeks are playing extremely well. Second half, very, very good, very wasteful in front of goal. Tonight, clinical in front of goal, absolutely clinical, and you know, easy nights. But I still don't think that Scotland are out of this tie. I definitely don't think they're out of the tie, but they need to be better organised defensively. They can't lose a third goal.
They've got us to where they want us. You can see once you score, we think, right, do we really have a go now and play open? Because we were playing pretty open even though we were 1-0 up in the tie. I thought we were a bit more cautious, and then we lose one, then we play even more open. And then I'm thinking, get to half time because we've got to shut up here, and we didn't. We lose our goal, so it's down to us now to find some way to get back in the game. A goal changes the dimension of the game. I still think we can win this, but it's a long road back if we continue to do what we're doing in the game.
Very unusual, Tom, to be talking about a Steve Clarke team being too open, but the guys have called it spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. There's too much space out there for Greece. They're enjoying themselves far too much. Their high press is causing Scotland major problems. There's still danger in this Scotland team. McTominay, I thought, had a very, very good first half. He had 3 shots on goal in his first 25 minutes. He's getting back, he's breaking attacks up, but he can't do it all by himself. And a lot of these Scotland players, particularly as the boys are saying, the two sitting midfielders, and I wonder is there going to be a change there soon. They've got to do more. They've got to work. I don't think that they're working hard enough here, some of them.
What do you think, Willie? Will we see changes? Is it too early?
You're putting me in a spot here. I think it is too early. I think both of these players are capable of helping out their two central defenders. I just think that the message could be that one of them be the deeper one and the other one. Don't know if it's because I think Billy Gilmour's been really productive in the midfield. He's always available. He's building up any good play that we've had. So it's maybe Kenny McLean that goes in there. Is there a change in there that you could pop someone in?
You could put Christie back in one and take McLean off and maybe put Ferguson on.
That's what I start with.
Yeah. That's about the only one that could go on, isn't it? Ferguson, I would think, in that area. Or, you know, changing it, and as you said, Christie's playing in that position so for his club, so it might be that something like that could be the answer, but you've got to find the answer. You can't just ignore it. It's there for everybody to see. That area where Konstantelias is pushing up and then dropping off, pushing up and dropping off, and we're not picking him up. Somebody's got to pick him up.
But the problem is if he doesn't change it soon, it could go to 3-0.
And it almost did just before the break.
Almost did, and it's possibly lights out at that point.
It wouldn't surprise me, Tom, if he does it right away. You know that. But I think he's not a panicker either, so he might just leave it 10 minutes. If it's still not working and we're still looking pretty vulnerable, I think he'll change it after 10-15 minutes.
Is there a case for Kieran Tierney and switching to that back five that we discussed before the game? Would he maybe go with that and deploy Andy Robertson and Tierney and maybe look to occupy Karetsis going the other way, give him something to think about, or is that too radical a change at this stage?
It's pretty radical, I would say, yeah. To change the formation, but sometimes you've got to make radical decisions if you think the tie is drifting away from you. And what we were saying before kick-off is that they're used to that formation as well. It's not as if it's going to be a shock to them or a surprise to them. So it's there, it's available to them. Will they do it at half-time? I suppose at half-time would be the perfect time to get into their ears and actually talk them through it. Whereas if you're changing the formation, as the game goes on, it's more difficult to get the message on. But it's an option for him. Personally, I don't think he'll do it, but I could be surprised.
Yes, work to do for Scotland here. They trail Greece by 2-0, 2-1 in aggregate in the Nations League playoff. Can they turn this round and secure their place in Nations League A? Let's find out in the company of Willie Miller, Billy Dodds, and our match commentator Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Andy. The teams have re-emerged, and it doesn't look like there are any changes on either side, as Scotland look to get at least one goal back in this second half, and at minimum take it to extra time. As Steve Clark and John Carver, his assistant, down in the technical area, just go through a few more tactical discussions, but they have decided against any personnel changes, at least at the start of this second period, as Greece prepared to get us back underway, going from left to right, as we look at it from the back of the main south stand here at Hampden. And it will be the Greek captain Pavlidis who will kick us off in this second half, as the music will finally die away and the referee just waits the instruction. And we are back underway as Scotland have it all to do in the second half. They've only lost 2 of the last 22 competitive games here, but already they're on the back foot as Konstantelias slips it to Pavlidis, and it's finished by Solis. What a start to the second half! Less than 20 seconds on the clock, and Greece have got a third goal. What an incredible start to this second period, as Solis from the left-hand side of the box tucks it beyond Craig Gordon, and all of a sudden it is Scotland 0, Greece 3.
And it's the same pattern, simple as that. And I mean, by the finish is exquisite by Pavlidis. He just smashes it home, bends it away. Was it Pavlidis? Was it Solis, sorry. Yeah. But us giving the ball away, building from the back in the final third. Christie's the ball, he just tries to find Kenny McLean, it's nicked, and then when he just reverse pass it, he just buries it. Solis, he's onside, and what a finish it is at 3. Absolutely exquisite executions. Not great for us, but I'll tell you what, we're the masters of our own downfall, Willie.
Yeah, Konstantelias as well, that sets it up yet again with a really intelligent pass onto Solis, and another clinical finish as well. Knows exactly what he wants to do, just clips it, with the right foot beyond Craig Gordon in goal. And what a difficult start to this second half for Scotland now. Huge mountain to climb.
Absolutely, yeah. We need 2 now to take it to extra time, as Solis celebrates his 5th goal for his country, the Club Brugge winger. Just coming in off that left, played in again, as Willie says, by Konstantelias, who has been terrific, scoring 1 and then creating the next 2 for Greece, as they have come to Hampden and absolutely turned this tie on its head. And you would not have seen this coming after 45 minutes out in Athens. Scotland had controlled the first half, but Greece, since that second period out in the Greek capital, have been the better side and find themselves 3-1 up on aggregate. And it is a long way back in this second half for Scotland.
Yeah, they've grown massively in confidence as well. Not that they're not a good team to start with, but you can see they've got a bit about them. And there again, we have been so poor from our back players into midfield. It has been incredible. I've never seen us pass the ball so poorly in those positions for a long time, and it's such a precious time as well, where we have to be on the money to stay in the top league, or we're getting punished, and that's exactly what's happened.
Giannoulis picks up on the left-hand side for Greece, midway inside the Scotland half. 3 minutes of this second half played, and Scotland have already conceded a 3rd goal in the night, and here they could be in once more. Just a little bit too much in the pass from Kouliarakis, as Giannoulis, I think it was, coming forward from left back, almost got in the end of it, but Craig Gordon out quickly enough to grab that one. But all of a sudden Scotland looked that bit nervier at the back as well, understandably, having lost 3 goals. And as the guys have been saying, that the finishes and the set-up for the 3 goals have all been immaculate, really impressive. But you'd have to say that Scotland could have done better in defending the situations. But here's Giannoulis once more, left-hand side, early ball in straight into the arms of Craig Gordon, thankfully, and he just throws it out to John McGinn, allowing Scotland to try and come forward, trying to get beyond Zafiris. Zafiris makes the challenge, no foul, says the referee, and the home fans getting more and more annoyed. But again, you can't really blame the Greeks, and the referee is he's been pretty fair, you would have to say. I don't think he's called anything particularly badly.
No, I thought that was a free kick though. I mean, McGinn spins and uses his body as we know he can, and he's caught, but I think the referee has to give that free kick. Yeah, but you can't blame the referee tonight.
Here's Karetsas, right hand side, cultured young 17-year-old who scored the second goal for Greece, and they are all enjoying themselves out there, Konstantelius in particular, but he's just been dispossessed by him again. McTominay can't get onto it, and it's picked up by Vagianidis on the right hand side, manages to keep it in and find Karetsas coming forward now to the edge of the penalty area. He's got Solis inside of him. Now it's Konstantelius all the way out to the left hand side for Giannoulis, and you have to say that having made the half a dozen changes coming into this game, Ivan Jovanovic has got his tactics and his personnel spot on. Scotland have nicked possession on the halfway line. It's Christie trying to come forward. He's only got Adams up with him. Scotland need to get bodies forward in support. Gilmore is trying to get up there with him, but eventually just runs down a dead end, does win the throw-in for his side. He's done well there, Ryan Christie, with the precious little support, and forward will come Ralston to take the throw in line with the 18-yard box. Over on the far side, the Scotland right, 50 minutes on the clock. 3-0 Greece lead on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. Can Scotland somehow get themselves back into this contest? Well, they haven't done anything with the throw-in, and forward come Greece once more, and surely a fourth goal on the night for Greece finishes it all together as Pavlidis finds the ball out to the right hand side. Karetsas again has so much room. Robertson's backed off, and this time he's not far away, but he has missed the target. But the Scotland fans all of a sudden turning on their side somewhat, I think, because it has been a pretty abject start to this second period, Willie Miller.
Oh, it has, you know, with that goal coming so early, and then Karetsas having the opportunity once again. But listen, the fans can be booing, but you've got to applaud the way the Greeks are playing. I mean, that was a magnificent passage of play to set that opportunity up. You've got to give them credit that they're now playing, you know, with that confidence, that arrogance, I would suggest. And we don't have an answer to it. We don't have an answer to it. We're not getting close enough to them. We're not winning the ball back. When we do win the ball back, Dodgy, what do? Give
it away.
That's it.
But what I will say is we're now leaving ourselves so exposed that when they get it, I mean, that was, when Karestas got the ball, I'm thinking we're all over the place again. We are really chasing it now, and they know they're going to find space, and they've got the ability to punish us.
McGinn into the penalty area, not behind by Kouliarakis, with Christie looking at the back post. Scotland corner, and all of a sudden the Hampden crowd get behind their team once more as they look for a way back into this contest. There's a couple of Scotland subs doing a fairly rigorous warm-up. Nisbet down there, I think that's Tommy Conway perhaps as well, and certainly we could do with goals as this corner prepares to come in. In fact, a triple change being planned. Hurst, Ferguson and Tierney are about to come on. They're all getting their instructions in the technical area as the corner comes in. Pavlidis heads away. Ralston gets it to Christie, right hand side. Pavlidis back there doing more defending, but Christie's got the ball right hand side, and it comes from Gilmore in the end. High up in the air from Mavropanos. More height than distance as Ralston looks to keep it alive just on the edge of the penalty area, hoists it in. Hanley doesn't go for it, goes all the way through to Solakis. 7.5 minutes of this second half played before Steve Clarke is poised to make this triple change, and drastic actions required because of the circumstances. Scotland find themselves in 3-0 down on the night, 3-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, you've got to do something, you know, when the game is just flowing away from you. It's been whipped away with that early goal in the second half, and you know, we thought maybe Steve Clarke might do something at half time. It hasn't waited too long, you know, before ringing the changes. 3 changes it is it?
Looked like it from
Conway and Ferguson. So yeah, I don't think he'd be doing his job properly if he was accepting what was in show just now.
It's Greece coming forward though. Can they get a fourth goal before Scotland have time to make the change? It's out to the left hand side, curled in away by Suter from the edge of his 6-yard box. Giannoulis once more into Constantilia, so he's done a little nutmeg on the edge of the box on Kenny McLean, but eventually robbed the possession. Down goes Gilmour, no foul. Greece come forward again, midway inside the Scotland half. An ambitious effort there from Mouzakitis, who drags his shot well wide, and it will be a Scotland goal kick. We've played 53.5 minutes as the 3 Scotland changes are about to be made. Tierney, Ferguson and Hurst to come on. Let's see who's about to make way. Well, the first of those, Shea Adams, who will be replaced by George Hurst for his second Scotland cap, having come on in midweek. Billy Gilmour will also make way in the middle of the park, and Tierney comes on for him. And the final change, well, you can hear what the Scotland fans make of Billy Gilmour coming off. And the final change is Kenny McLean coming off, with Lewis Ferguson coming on for him. Billy, what do you make of those 3 changes?
I mean, Hurst obviously needed a bit of freshness up front. He looked tired, didn't he, Shea Adams? No problem with that. Well, Tierney looks as if he's going to the left. Lewis Ferguson get into midfield, along with John McGinn. So the 2 sitting midfielders are off, and McGinn and Lewis Ferguson will sit now. And Tierney's going to go wide left, and just try and get some freshness onto the pitch and have a bit more of a go.
Tierney's played there for Arsenal at times. He's come on in that position and that kind of left wing effectively, so it's not completely alien to him. And we know what good delivery he can have from that left-hand side, so let's hope he can produce that this evening. We've got 35 minutes left for Scotland to find at least 2 goals in the 90 and force extra time. You'd have to imagine that's the best we can hope for right now. As forward comes Scotland, but Ralston's cross from the right hand side is deflected into the arms of Soulakis, the goalkeeper, and after 55 it remains Scotland 0, Greece 3, 3-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, it was a poor cross into the box, wasn't it, from Anthony Ralston there. Decent build-up, McTominay playing a big part of it. The changes, I think Billy Gilmour going off is a bit of a surprise to us. Kenny McLean as well. You know, I know I pointed out that they had to do a better job, you know, defensively, but at the same time I thought Gilmour offensively was doing well, and he was always part of the build-up. Tierney coming on the left-hand side, just have to see what difference that makes, if it gives Andy Robertson a little bit more protection, or if it gives Scotland a little bit more threat down the left-hand side with his strong runs down that wing. You know, but it's a position where you're really hoping that something special can happen. Some of the players just step up to the plate and produce that special bit of magic that's going to get Scotland back into this game.
Here it comes, McTominay midway inside the Greek half, out to the left hand side. It's Hurst into Ferguson, just behind him, couldn't take it in his stride, and out comes Soulakis to grab that before there's any further danger. But the Greece have given it away in a poor area. Ferguson forward to McTominay, edge of the penalty area. Can he find room for a shot? Takes a deflection, and again it's straight into the arms of Soulakis. But better from Scotland as the Hampden roar sounds round the stadium. But it does remain on 57 minutes. Scotland 0, Greece 3.
Yeah, it's Hanley getting tight with his man, the first one, and that sets up the attack. Lewis Ferguson picks up, then it's Lewis Ferguson flies into a tackle, so maybe that energy is just being able to create a little bit more. He had a passing option on McTominay, decided to hit the shot, it was deflected straight into the goalkeeper's arms, but at least we're in the forward areas.
Tierney out to the right hand side, kept in by McTominay, picked up by Christie. Right hand side for Scotland, and midway inside the Greek half. They need a goal back soon, just to lift the crowd, lift themselves, and give them that impetus to go on and snatch at least another. Here's Tierney left hand side, and let's see what he can do in the forward area. Checks back and finds Ferguson still left hand side, back further to Hanley, about 15 yards inside the Greek half, plays it square to Suter. And now Ralston out to the right flank. McTominay popping up there, midway inside Greek territory once more. It's Ralston hugging the touchline all the way back to Suter as Greece get everyone behind the ball, as they're entitled to do, having scored 3 goals on this Sunday evening in Glasgow. They lost by 1-0 the last time they were here 30 years ago. Ali McCoy's popping up with a late-ish winner for his country as they qualified for Euro 96. but having no such joy this evening so far, as Grant Hanley has it, middle of the park, finds his captain Andy Robertson, now to the left for Tierney, tracked there by Vagiannidis. Then Robertson tries to lift it forward for McTominay. There's too much on that, behind for a goal kick. It's poor stuff that from the Liverpool captain, as the Greeks begin to time waste, as you'd expect. It's entirely understandable, having built up a 3-goal advantage, 2 on aggregate, 3-1 the lead. And yeah, really, I mean, they've every right to begin to try and tick the clock down as much as possible.
Yeah, and that's what they seem to be doing. You know, they've taken the tempo out of their game. They've slowed it right down. They don't seem to be in too much of a hurry to get forward as well. They're inviting Scotland to come and try to, you know, create opportunities, and so far Scotland haven't been good enough. They haven't been creative enough to cause them any problems.
Hurst on the chase there as McGinn played it forward. The best they could do was prevent it going behind for a goal kick, and just knocks it out at the corner flag for a throw-in, with Greece deep in their own territory now on their left-hand side. Again, the Tartan Army not happy that the left back there is stealing a few yards as it's hurled forward. Ferguson gets a boot in and finds Hanley, and then gets it back once more out to the right-hand side now for Ralston, picked up by Christie. He's given it away. He's not been his club standard, you would have to say, this evening, playing in a different position, you would have to acknowledge, as Tierney battles against Vagiannidis to win it back in this Scotland left-hand side, and then tries the ball forward. It's knocked away by Kouliarakis, helped on by Vagiannidis right-hand side. Tierney picks up once more. He's challenged though by Karetsas, who's won it, and he gets it back from Konstantelius. He's shot down there by Lewis Ferguson, who stuck out the left arm and brought him to the ground. Almost a clothesline move there, and it's a yellow card for the substitute Lewis Ferguson, as Karetsas remains prone on the ground. An hour gone at Hampden, and it's not good news. It's Scotland 0, Greece 3, 3-1 to the Greeks on aggregate.
It is a good bit of skill there from Karetsas, you know, taking on Lewis Ferguson. The arm's definitely up. It's caught him round about the neck as well. It's a yellow card. It's definitely a yellow card. I'll say no more than that. I think Lewis Ferguson will be happy that it was just a yellow card that was given, because the hand was up. It was very high into the youngster's face, round about the throat. But a yellow card it is.
I think he was angry about that nutmeg. It looked like he wasn't getting the other side. It was a brilliant piece of play, but he's added something, Lewis Ferguson. You know, he gets stuck in about it, wins the second balls. I think it's been something we've been missing tonight. I think you're right, Al. We looked maybe a little bit jaded. I know goals can sap the energy out of you, but we were second to a lot of balls. We were giving the ball away. I think we looked tired at times as well, so definitely added something.
Greece looking to move into League A for the very first time. They spent the first 3 Nations League campaigns in League C before winning promotion last time to League B, finishing second behind England in the Nations League proper, and earning themselves this playoff shot, and they look to be making the most of it. Despite losing at home 1-0, they have very much turned the tie on its head, leading by 3-0 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate, and forward they come here as Konstantelius gets it out to the left-hand side. Giannoulis back to Konstantelius once more. We've got 28 minutes left for Scotland to find a minimum of 2 goals to take this tie to extra time. It looks a big ask just at the moment, the way things are going, as Konstantelius plays it out to the right-hand side to Karetsas, who's thoroughly enjoying his first international start out there, and big things are expected of him, and you can see why in the little cameo he played out in Athens, and certainly the finish he provided to give Greece a 2-goal advantage tonight, since added to by Solis. 3-0 they lead here this evening at Hampden, 3-1 over the course of the 2 legs, as Zafiris picks up possession and gets out to the left-hand side midway forward, as Greek try and manufacture another attack that looked to come off the arm of one of the Greeks there, as Tierney though picks up possession and comes forward down the left-hand side into the feet there of Hurst, tries to play the 1-2s, asking a lot of Tierney to get there, and in fact Vagiannidis gets there first, knocks it back to his goalkeeper, and the Scots, well, they we complimented on some of their passages of play, some of the slick passing in the first half before things began to go awry, but that has completely gone now from the game. They're finding it difficult to string any passages of play together, but here they come forward. It's Christie out to the left-hand side for Tierney, well advanced. Forward comes Robertson as well. Tierney checks inside, finds Ferguson about 30 yards from goal, plays it square to McGinn. He tries a ball round the corner, doesn't come off. Ferguson gets it back to the right hand side, and it's Ralston with the crossing opportunity. In comes Christie, couldn't make anything of it. Claims for handball, nothing given by the referee. Tierney picks up inside the box. It's Robertson dinks it towards the back post. The header comes in from Hurst, but it's way off target, and the goalkeeper doesn't need to pick it up immediately. He just bides his time, waits for Hurst to close him down, and now he lifts it. Didn't see anything in the handball claim, Billy, did you?
No, I didn't, but it's better from us again going forward. It's just the final stand-up cross from Andy Robertson. I thought maybe Hurst could have just cushioned it. He was never beating the goalkeeper from where he was, and maybe cushioned into McTominay's path. But we're getting desperate. We look as if it's one of those games where we're desperate. We need a goal that would give us the energy required to maybe get a draw.
Yeah, that would be extremely acceptable right now if they could get it back to 3-2 in the night and take it into extra time on aggregate. But with 25 to play, it does not look promising as Caretsas puts it through the legs of Robertson this time. He says he doesn't look at who he's playing against one-on-one, and here he is trying to get on the end of it. Robertson getting back well to cut out the 1-2. Down goes Caretsas. Pavlidis comes back across to win possession, and Greece have it through Konstantelius. Pokes it forward for Pavlidis. He's digged over Craig Gordon. John Souttar, has he kept that off the line? I think just about that has been prevented from crossing the line. It's an unbelievable bit of defending from John Souttar, as somehow Pavlidis got in between Hanley and Gordon, lifted it over the keeper, but Souttar was there to prevent it going over the line and prevent it going 4-0 Greece, and Scotland by a whisker survive on that occasion.
Oh, it's close, isn't it, really? You know, in these circumstances, you've just got to sniff out the danger, and John Souttar certainly does that. He keeps it out, there's no doubt about that. It's clear that it's not over the line, but once again, you know, the Greeks opening is up. Pavlidis getting the opportunity, and I wonder who made the pass to Pavlidis. I think it was Konstantelius. Of course it was Konstantelius. He's still a major threat that Scotland have got to try and deal with.
I thought we should have had a free kick on Robertson just before that, but anyway, yeah. It's just excuses. And then I think Hanley's got to handle it better as well. He tried to put his body in the way and run past the ball, which let Pavlidis get the chip in, but we were lucky. It could turn ugly if they get a fourth, you know.
Tierney ball in's cut out easily by Mavropanos. Nothing Scotland do at the moment is coming off as Hanley gets the ball forward, returned by Zafiris, flicked on by the playmaker Konstantelius, still just 22, and pulling the strings out there, scoring the first, creating the second and third for Greece to give them a 3-goal advantage here at Hampden. 3-1 on aggregate, as Scotland look to be heading back to League B in the Nations League, and this can pull off an incredible comeback in the closing stages. Lewis Ferguson penalised in the middle of the park, and although that was an innocuous foul, he just has to be careful now. He's been yellow carded. Greek free kick, as that's the Greek fans you can hear in the background. There's not all that many of them, but they are making a racket right now because they are absolutely loving what they are seeing out there, with their side having come from a goal down at the start of play to lead by 3-1 on aggregate, as they play out from the back, and it's Koulirakis launching it long up to Pavlidis. He gets his head to it, but Ralston then heads it back to Hanley midway inside his own half. I wonder if Steve Clarke's pondering any further changes at the midway point in this second period. Scotland look to have kind of run out of ideas, trying to get 2 goals back before the end of play to take it into extra time. It's Greece dominating, looking the likelier to add to their own tally rather than lose one, as Zafiris picks up in the middle of the park and plays it to Koulirakis on the halfway line. The centre back from Wolfsburg plays it down the left for the well advanced, too advanced actually as it turns out, Giannoulis. He's offside on this occasion, and Scotland take the free kick quickly as McGinn, playing now in the centre of the park, bursts forward. He's dragged to the ground by Pavlidis, who should have been booked for a relatively similar challenge on Robertson in the first half. McGinn kicks it off him as he tries to take the free kick quickly, and he is shown a yellow card, so I think you can say that's overdue.
Yeah, it's rather silly from the striker. All he has to do is walk away from it, showing a little bit too much arrogance there, just standing in front of John McGinn, and John just taking the free kick a little bit early. You know that you're not allowed to do that, so I don't know why, with his experience, that he just stands in front of McGinn and gets himself a needless yellow card.
Free kick has got way too much on it for Tierney to catch. And listen to the reaction of the fans here, the home fans, dispirited by what they have seen from their beloved national team this evening. It all looked so good coming into this one. I think most fans, while recognising it was by no means done, turned up here in pretty optimistic moods, having watched the first leg, despite the Greek pressure in the second half of the first leg. I felt certainly that Scotland had enough about them to get the job done, and I don't think I was alone, but it has proved at this stage not to be the case, as Hurst loses out in the middle of the park. An advantage played as the Greek player goes down, but it's Karetsas bringing it forward down the right flank up against Lewis Ferguson, who will just have to stay on his feet and try and show Karetsas away from goal. He does get the ball into the box. It's high in the air from Souttar, who moments ago prevented Scotland going 4 goals down on the night. Incredibly, that would have been just an unbearable scoreline, but could yet get worse for Scotland as Konstantelius picks up left hand side of the penalty. They're forced out of the box, but a lovely little back heel just gives Ralston the chance to hammer it off Giannoulis, and it will be a goal kick, but there's also going to be a yellow card for Hurst for the challenge a minute or so ago on the prone Vianidis, I beg your pardon, who's still down on the ground, just hurtling his way back to his feet, and Hurst is shown the yellow card for his challenge on the fullback. 70 minutes gone here at Hampden. The scoreline does not make good reading or listening for Scotland fans. It is Scotland 0, Greece 3, 3-1 to the Greeks on aggregate.
And they're well worthy of that scoreline as well. It's been an outstanding performance from them. I still don't think that the game is gone for Scotland, but they're going to need something very, very quickly, and they've got to be able to deal with the fans now as well, who are beginning to turn a little bit in frustration. And that's another question that's got to be answered as well. You need your experienced players out there to just calm the whole thing down, try to block out the fans on this occasion, and try to create something. They lack creativity in the game. I think Ryan Christie getting a little bit involved over on the far side as well, referee having to talk to him. So just calm it down, Ryan. I think that's what you need to do. You need to use that experience just to deal with the situation as it is, and hope that you can get the next goal.
Double change for the Greeks as Konstantelius thankfully is going to be replaced by Dimitris Pelkas, and the other change is going to be Giorgos Masouras coming on for Kostas Karetsas. So you would have to say that with just over 18 minutes of the 90 remaining, the Greeks and their manager Ivan Jovanovic must be pretty confident of victory, because he's taken off the two players that have caused Scotland most harm this evening.
Strange though, isn't it? I wonder what's going through his mind. I think that the last time that I can remember was a Norway game away from home, where the changes were made that were very surprising, and Scotland took advantage of it. Andy Robertson coming off as well, so there is changes being made by Steve Clarke too, but very surprised that the two players that's been taken off for the Greeks, because they have been outstanding this evening.
Well, it's pretty bold stuff this from Steve Clarke, and no needs must, but he is bringing on James Wilson, the Hearts teenager, for his debut, perhaps seeing what the Greek teenager has done tonight. Karetsas and James Wilson, as well as Tommy Conway, coming on as Christie and Robertson depart, and it'll require a reshuffle But with 17 minutes left on the clock, Steve Clarke has shown his full hand, made his 5 subs. His side trailing by 3-0 on the night. They need 2 goals to take this into extra time, as they trail by 3-1 on aggregate. Can Scotland somehow come up with a almost miraculous comeback to get themselves back into it? As a yellow card flash, now it's all kicking off over on the far side. The yellow card has gone to a Greek player for a late challenge there, and then there's a bit of a rammy as the young midfielder Mazakoutis is the one who's shown the yellow card, and then it all kind of kicked off. The referee quickly calming it down, and it will be a free kick to Scotland, 10 yards inside their own half. But we've only got 16 and a bit minutes left, and still the Scots trail by 3-0 on the night.
Yeah, going to need something soon. You know, it's no point in, you know, getting mixed up with you know, arms and fists kind of a head height. You know, you've got to concentrate in the game. It's difficult enough to deal with this situation out there, and the fans' frustration as well. So it's really, for me, it's about concentrating in the game and just hoping that you can produce something that's going to get the next goal.
Kieran Tierney now dropped back to left full-back. John McGinn with the armband, crossing the halfway line, hustles his way forward. Now it's Hurst into McTominay, 25 yards from goal, out to the right-hand side. His pass doesn't quite reach James Wilson, who's made his international debut tonight with a quarter of an hour to go. Can he help Scotland come back from 3 goals down on the night? 3-1 on aggregate. Here they are in possession, and it's Conway out on the left-hand side, picking up from Tierney. Back with Hanley now, still 10 yards inside his own half. Quarter of an hour to go. Scotland 0, Greece 3. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Off the ball to follow us tonight. You'll get all the reaction coming on there after Sports Sound is finished. But at the moment, the reaction will be to having gone out of League A and losing on the night, unless Steve Clarke and his side can pull something major out the bag, as Hanley wonders how to move his side forward. In the end, he plays a stray pass that Suter has to go and chase, and it's all a little bit scrappy and untidy from Scotland at the moment, running out of ideas, chasing a couple of goals that they need to take it into another half an hour of extra time. Still, it's Hanley now on the halfway line. Suter closed down by Pavlidis, but gets it forward to McTominay. Back the way it goes to Ralston. Ralston has to go back to Suter. The home fans wanted to go forward. You can hear their frustration. The players just have to continue to be patient, play the way that they believe can get them the goals, not try and force it. But it becomes more and more difficult not to force it, the more desperate you become, as Conway tries to poke the ball forward. It's out of one of the Greek substitutes in the shape of Masouras on this near side. It'll be a long throw in here potentially from Kieran Tierney coming in about midway inside the Greek half. He's going to launch it into the penalty area though. Can Scotland get first to it? It's Mavropanos who wins it, but Conway gets it down to McGinn. Now it's Tierney almost at the byline, tries to force it across the penalty area. It comes off the full-back Vaianidis. It's a Scotland corner.
Yeah, you just got to, you know, keep the ball in their final third, haven't you? And you know, the Greeks have kind of given up territory. They're just going back. When they get possession, they just want to run the clock down. They're just trying to make it difficult for Scotland. Scotland have got to be patient, but they've got to keep the foot in their throat as well.
John McGinn, left-hand side with the corner kicks, out swinger, headed away by Pavlidis, comes out to Conway, takes one touch, shot's blocked, tries to get it back out to McGinn. He's done well. The Middlesbrough forward, McGinn sweeps it in, it's off the head of Hurst, about 10 yards from goal, and it's well off target from the Ipswich man. No real threat there to Solakis' goal, and after 77.5 minutes it remains Scotland 0, Greece 3.
He's stretching for it, Hurst there. Is Suter not in a better position?
I think Suter should give us think that as well, Willie. Suter's on the run, he sees it coming, maybe a shout, maybe Hurst doesn't hear him, but he's on the way back, and to score for there is nearly impossible with John Suter behind him. I think we're going to have to be more direct now. I know the Scotland fans won't want to see that, but we have a front four at times with McTominay, Hurst, Wilson and Conway, and we can't play through the midfield. We've got a couple in there, but it's not wingers. it's more strikers we've got in that front line now.
Free kick to Greece over on the far side, midway inside the Scotland half. They've got Scotland exactly where they want them. The Greeks, they have played this game absolutely beautifully. And Ivan Jovanovic down there, a figure of calm, the Serbian, led Panathinaikos to the Greek Cup not so long ago, their first trophy in 8 years, and now he is on the verge of leading Greece into League A for the first time, and that would be quite the achievement. They've won 6 of the last 8 games, and they're on the cusp of making that 7 from 9. And another wonderful away performance, having won at Wembley. They are looking very much like they are going to win at Hampden as well. Difficult to see a Scotland come back with 11 minutes, but we continue to be hopeful that Scotland can somehow find at least 2 goals to take it into extra time. As they have the ball in the middle of the park, not going anywhere fast, as Ralston goes back to Suter, still midway inside his own territory, plays it square to Hanley. He's going to be quickly closed down, but does get the ball to McGinn, and then forward to McTominay. McTominay's given it away. It's a terrible pass, and now Pavlidis coming forward. If Greece can get another, it's all over. Can't get the pass away though. Hanley steps in and then does well to find Tierney. Scotland can come forward, and it's up to Hurst on the halfway line. Buys a free kick, does well to hold it up, and then Mavropanos comes in behind him and knocks him to the floor. It will be a free kick to Scotland, 10 yards inside their own half, which Tierney takes quickly to McGinn. McGinn finds McTominay on the halfway line, just nudges it back there to Ferguson. Ferguson crossing the halfway line once more. Infield to McGinn. Scotland need a few heroes out there. McGinn and McTominay are the ones that have stepped up so often, and they need them more than ever right now. Back with Ferguson, just 10 yards inside the Greek half, with everyone behind the ball for the white-shirted Greeks. As Hanley plays it short into McGinn, forward for McTominay, and back with Ferguson. Can Scotland try and manufacture something here? It's a good play from Ralston on the right-hand side. Eventually, though, a double team of Greek players managed to win the ball from him, and they can clip the ball forward into Pelkas there with his back to goal. Played forward looking for Pavlidis. Hanley will get it though and knock it all the way back to Craig Gordon, who's been beaten 3 times tonight by 3 terrific goals. But the Scotland defending has left much to be desired at times. 10 minutes left in this second leg of the Nations League A playoff match. And Scotland, as they did against Ukraine in the World Cup playoff here, that was one of their 2 of the 22 previous competitive games that they've lost here. The other one to Poland at the start of the Nations League. But around about us, Scotland fans beginning to head for the exits, Willie, as they clearly feel there's no way back in this game.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult to see it, isn't it? You know, Scotland really haven't created many chances, but I wouldn't be leaving the ground just quite this early. I think the Greeks have given up possession. They've decided that they're just going to, you know, make it difficult for Scotland. Can Scotland find, you know, at least one strike, one goal that will undoubtedly lift this crowd, but it's difficult to see where it's going to come from.
It is that. 8.5 left of the 90 as Conway wins possession back for Scotland on the halfway line and fires it back to Craig Gordon, who immediately gets it out to Suter, who prevented Scotland going 4-0 down with a terrific goal line clearance. But Scotland have coughed up possession again, and here come Greece on the counter. They've got bodies over. This could be it now. It's a big chance, and it's blasted over the top. I think it was Solis who was moving forward there on that left-hand side as Greece are about to make a couple of changes again, but that was the moment to kill Scotland off altogether, and it was passed up with an off-target effort.
Another big chance, though, wasn't it? And you know, he's got plenty of time there. He's got plenty of time to hit the target. You think at the very least that's what he's going to do, Solis. And it's a great weighted pass to him. Takes a nice touch and then balloons it way over the bar. Big opportunity, but thankfully for Scotland, wasn't taken.
Greece are making a couple of changes with Giannidis, the striker, coming on for Pavlidis. And the other change sees Galanopoulos come on. So Greece just running down the clock with The youngster Mouzakitis, the other one to come on here in the closing stages. As McGinn clips it forward down the left-hand side, galloping forward is Tierney at the byline now, tries to cut it back, comes off the full-back. There's an offside flag up against Tierney from the initial ball forward, and with every moment like that, the chances of a Scotland comeback diminish even further. We've got 7 left to play. It's Scotland 0, Greece 3 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate, and that brilliant first half that brought the Scott McTominay penalty out in Athens just seems a distant memory now.
Yeah, it does. I mean, they've managed the game so well, not just in the way they scored the 3 goals, just the way they've managed it defensively. Second half, broken it up, frustrated Scotland. We've got players now where Stevie Clarke has to go for it when he's playing forward players, but that means we're giving up passing the ball and getting possession in the middle of the pitch, and it's more direct, and they're handling that. It's so frustrating for us.
Sure is. 6 minutes left. Scotland 0, Greece 3, 3-1 on aggregate as McGinn tries to find a way forward, but there's just no obvious passes on at times. Here's McGinn though, trying to do it all on his own down that right hand side. He's fouled, he's got himself and Scotland a free kick on the halfway line right hand side. The referee wants it taken back a couple of yards, all of a sudden being a stickler for where free kicks are taken.
I don't know what the conversation is, but the referee was having a word with Scott McTominay, wasn't it? I don't understand why. It seemed pretty straightforward. Free kick, take it, get on with the game.
Yeah, Scotland have taken it, and it's Ferguson. You have to say the changes that Steve Clarke has made haven't. I mean, you said earlier on Lewis Ferguson had made a bit of an impact, Billy, but it's kind of died away after maybe 10 minutes or so. And I mean, that third goal that they got straight after half-time is really done for Scotland, isn't it?
Well taken, clinical, every goal, but that third one was the one where we talked about at half-time. When we were building from the back, we were giving away easy possession, and we gave it away again, and they absolutely did us at that moment, and it just floored us. I think it was so important we could get back level, but instead they got a third.
Here come Greece once more. It's up to Ioannidis, tries a little step over, doesn't come off, but they've got it back once more as Pelkas gets it out to the left hand side, in from Solis to the back post. Could be a chance here for Masouras. It's well blocked inside the penalty area, but here come Greece once more. 4.5 to play of the 90. Scotland look a beaten side out there. 3-0 they trail, 3-1 on aggregate. And it looks like their time in League A is almost up. They'll be back to League B after the World Cup, but with the World Cup qualifiers to come after a couple of friendlies in June, September, and Greece will be in there. And this result, you would have to say, I think we spoke previously about laying down a marker for the World Cup qualifiers. I think that's exactly what Greece have done tonight, Willie.
They've been really impressive, haven't they? You know, the quality of their finishing has been at a really high level, but generally throughout, the way they keep the ball, the way they interlink, their passing movements, creativity has been really up there. You know, you're looking at this as being a really top-class performance, and you know, having to go up against them again in the World Cup campaign, mind you, the goalkeeper given possession away like that, we still might have a chance in this game, but it's been a top quality performance from the Greeks, there's no doubt about that.
It really has. Solakis just kicking that out at play, and Scotland get the throw in, which is taken. Now McGinn, right hand side, about 35 yards from goal, but Greece still hunting Scotland down, no easy way through. Can't remember Solakis being troubled in this second half. He had a good save from McGinn in the first period, had to deny McTominay in the early stages of the first half, but second half Scotland have been unable to find a way to hurt Greece, and Tierney from 20 yards inside Greek half has to go all the way back to Craig Gordon, greeted by boos round Hampden as Souter picks up and plays a short ball to McGinn, who tries a big switch of play out to Tierney. It's all just a little bit forced at the moment as Conway loses out in a 50-50 in the middle of the park, and it's out for a throw-in on this near side to Scotland, taken quickly by Tierney's sole shot with the return pass from Ferguson. And with a couple of minutes left in the 90, it's going to take something very, very special for Scotland to get the 2 goals they need to force extra time. Hanley fires it forward, way too much on it. Boos ring round Hampden. Sums up Scotland's performance tonight. It has simply not been good enough.
No, it hasn't. You know, and passes like that from Grant Hanley, you know, at this stage of the game, it just leads to frustration from the crowd, and also frustration from the players out there. You know, there's plenty forward-thinking players there. I know you've got to play it long, but you've got to try and find a target, haven't you? You've got to, you know, make your passing much more accurate than that one. It's just playing right into the hands of the Greek side.
Ferguson heads it forwards. Mavropanos on the retreat, just turns under pressure from Hurst and knocks it out of play on this near side, the Scotland left. Throw in to be taken by Kieran Tierney. We've got just over a minute left of the 90. Scotland need a significant amount of injury time to be added on here if they're to have any hope of finding the 2 goals they need to force extra time. Tierney lining up another long throw. Maybe, just maybe, if we can get one back here, there is time for a second, but it has to come soon. Tierney into the box. And Hurst can't reach it, but it's off the head of Mavropanos and out for another throw-in. That bit nearer the Greek goal, about 15-20 yards from the corner flag. The referee is having to stop play. There's a Greek player down in the penalty area. I'm not entirely sure what, if anything, happened to him, as he's now back on his feet. I think it's Zafiris. He's just been checked by the referee as these seconds tick by and just take Greece that little bit closer to the victory you would have to argue they thoroughly deserve over the course of the 2 matches, and certainly this evening.
Yeah, just trying to break it up, aren't they? They're trying to, what's that down there? 4 minutes.
Yeah, four is really not enough, you would have to imagine, for Scotland. But anyway, Tierney still waiting to take this throw in left hand side. The referee still trying to sort things out in the penalty area.
I would take a grand finale, meaning that we've scored for this throw in, but I can't see it.
And it comes, edge of the 6-yard box, flicked in and into the arms of the goalkeeper, and every little bounce inside the penalty area has gone the way of the Greeks. And a little bit of good fortune that Scotland enjoyed in the first leg when they got that penalty has deserted them tonight. And I think the phrase is, you make your own luck, and the Greeks have deserved everything they've got tonight. I don't think even the most passionate Scot would argue that Scotland have deserved to either win this game or win the tie overall, as Tierney battles away out there. The ball's out for a Greek throw-in with almost a minute of the 4 added on, and Greece are about to make another change, their final one of the evening, and it'll be Panayotis Retsos to come on in place of the man who really buried Scotland with the 3rd goal tonight, Christos Solis. He makes his way off, and the Greek fans away to our left, what would you say, there's maybe a couple of thousand of them, but they are making a right racket, and deservedly so.
Yeah, good performance, you know, full of quality. You know, this is a Greek side that is obviously growing in confidence as well, you know, and thoroughly deserve the victory. There's no doubt about that. Scotland, you know, only a shadow of themselves, I would suggest. They can play much better than the performance that they put on tonight.
Yeah, it just feels like maybe when in these big moments, like the Euros, like that Ukraine game here, the World Cup qualifier, just Scotland haven't turned up when it really, really matters. As McGinn sends it out left to Conway, and he just runs into the Greek player. Does break for Hurst, left hand side, tucks it back in field to Ferguson, about 25 yards from goal, plays it square to McGinn out to Ralston, further out right hand side to young Wilson, who's had a few touches since coming on, but sends that back into the area, headed down by Hurst, but falls to a Greek foot. And down goes Giannidis, trying to buy the free kick from Hanley, rightly waved to his feet by the referee, and Scotland pick up once more. But we've only got a couple of minutes left. They trail by 3-0, 3-1 in aggregate, as Hurst picks up once more, left hand side of the penalty area. Can Scotland get a goal back? Hurst forces it into the penalty area, but it's picked up again by Greece in the danger area, and they'll just hammer it up towards the halfway line, as Giannidis and Hanley will again go head to head. Giannidis almost get the better of Hanley there, but it's headed from Ferguson to Suter, who helps it back to Craig Gordon, as we enter almost the final minute. Craig Gordon's given it away. Now the chip was almost on there, but Masouras from about 40 yards out, and his manager's absolutely furious because he could have run that to the corner flag, but he went for the extravagant chip on Craig Gordon. It was well off target, and it remains after 93 minutes. Scotland 0, Greece 3, 3-1 in aggregate.
That was on for Masouras though, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know if he would give up that opportunity. It was a major error from Craig Gordon, and if it had caught it right, then it could have ended up in the back of the net. The manager furious, obviously, because he just wanted to run the clock down.
Yeah, I think at this juncture they can get away with that, to be fair, as Tierney picks up 30 seconds remaining of injury time. Scotland trailing by 3-1 in aggregate. A poor performance tonight at Hampden after a relatively promising start, but as soon as Greece got in front, they have been the better side and deserving of their victory. Here's McGinn into the area though for Tierney. Good save from Salakis. Not sure he was onside. The flag stays down, and it was a chance, that's for sure, but it was a good stop as well by the Greek goalkeeper, and the clean sheet remains intact as they play out from the back, and we're beyond the 4 minutes of added on time, and the agony will soon be complete for Scotland as the home fans boo the final whistle and the performance of the home side this evening as the two managers exchange handshakes. But it's the Greeks who celebrate here at Hampden. Many of us anticipated the opposite to be the case tonight, that Scotland would be celebrating the retaining of the League A status, but the Greeks had other ideas, and after a brilliant performance here at Hampden, 3 goals to put Scotland to the sword. A couple of them came first half. The two youngsters, Konstantelias scoring the first and setting up the second for the teenager Karetsas to put Greece in charge of the tie, and then 20 seconds after the restart, Konstantelias again turning provider for Solis to sweep the ball beyond Craig Gordon. John Souttar prevented it being 4-0 as he denied Pavlidis after a little chip over Craig Gordon. Really, Scotland offered next to nothing in the second half by way of a comeback, and so it is Greece who move into League A for the next Nations League campaign. Scotland will drop down to League B. It has been another sorry night at Hampden when the chips are down. Scotland have failed to come up with the answers, and it has finished at the National Stadium. Scotland 0, Greece 3.
Scotland